Dive into the seals, Trumpets 7 and Vials 7. And really, Seal 7 is about a time of rest. So Seal 6 matches up perfectly with Matthew 24 and the sister passages as well. So let's read, and we're going to connect the dots here. And you just use proper hermeneutics. Let the Bible define the Bible, as many like to say. But let's read. And I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake. Earthquake, and the sun become black as sackcloth, and the moon becoming as blood, is a continuous theme of that great and terrible day of the Lord, or at least moving up towards it, right? So there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell onto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs. And then she is shaken of a mighty wind, and the heaven departed as a scroll, right? People are seeing the Lamb. And when it was rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in the dens, the dumb bases, right? And in the rocks and the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. That's Jesus. And the great day of his wrath. This is a day. We'll prove that out as well. The great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? All right, so that's Seal 6. And again, Seal 7 is just a time of rest. Let's go to Trumpets 7 and really use hermeneutics and look at the parallel passages. And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great noises in heaven saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of the Lord. That's a transformation. And of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever. Sounds final. And the 24 elders which sat before God on their seats fell upon their faces and worshiped God, saying, we give thee thanks, O Lord God Almighty, which art and wast and art to come, because thou hast taken to thee thy great power and hast reigned, and the nations were angry, and thy wrath is come, and the time of the dead, that they should be judged, and that they should give reward unto the servants and prophets and to the saints. Saints are Christians. Elect are Christians as well. In Matthew 24, we'll get into that. And them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldeth destroy them that destroy the earth. I talk about this verse a lot. Those that have launched this beast system, this nanotech, gene defilement, 5G, 6G, that destroys oxygens, those that are dumping chemicals on us, right? He's going to destroy them that destroy the earth. And then the temple of God was open in heaven. This parallels Seal 6, right? The temple of God was open in heaven, and there was seen in his temple the ark of his testament, and there were lightnings and voices and thunderings and an earthquake and great hail. Parallels. Seal 6, right? And again, Seal 7 is a time to be quiet. Now let's read the seventh bowl or vial. And the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air, and there came great voice of the temple of heaven from the throne, saying, it is done. It's finished, final. Just like Trumpet 7. And there were voices and thunders and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake. Earthquake again. Earthquake, earthquake, earthquake on all three of these different verses that I'm reading. That was so great. And the great city was divided into three parts, and cities of nations fell, and great Babylon came in remembrance before God, and gave unto her the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. Wrath again. Whose wrath? Christ's wrath. And every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. Sound familiar? I just read that. And there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, and every stone about the weight of a talent. And men blasphemed God because of the plague of the hail, for the plague therefore was exceedingly great. So this is a day of wrath, my friends. It flows. Do you see the continuity? And then this really fits Matthew 24 perfectly. Fits it perfectly. Do your due diligence. Let's actually dive a little bit deep. And there shall be signs in the sun. We saw that as well. The signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth, the stress of nations with perplexity, and the sea and the waves roaring, men's hearts failing them for fear. Right? We just read, fall on us, the wrath of the Lamb, right? We saw that with Seal 6 that we just read with the sun and the moon. And for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with the power of great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads. Your redemption draweth nigh. Rapture. And this is Luke 21:25 through 28. That fits Matthew 24, 29 through 31, and Mark 13, 24 through 27. Continuity of the Bible. And going back to the same story with the seals, the trumpets, and the bowl, at least the seventh trumpet, seventh vial, seventh bowl, sixth seal, because again, the seventh seal is a time to be quiet. This reminds me of the gospel. Tell you what we're going to tell you again. Same story, different accounts, probably different starting points, and in that great and terrible day of the Lord. And this fits Joel as well, just another sister passage. And I will show wonders in heaven and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord. It's great if you're saved. It's terrible if you're not.